Here's how you can build muscle and get stronger for jiu-jitsu, but on a budget. I like to call it bulking on a budget. It's an awesome series on, I think, the Animal YouTube channel. Bodybuilders basically going to the grocery store, spending 50 bucks for the week. I'm not gonna go to that extent. And again, jiu-jitsu is not bodybuilding, but there's some principles that we can take from that and apply to building mass for jiu-jitsu. Now, before we get into this, I'm not a registered dietitian. I'm not a nutritionist. Don't just take my advice and use it blindly. Go seek a professional. This is just stuff that I've learned through the years of myself going up and down weight classes, working with guys like Eric Helms, who have been on the podcast a couple of times, and reading a lot of other top nutritionists and registered dietitians' work and applying it on myself. Why are we even talking about bulking for jiu-jitsu when jiu-jitsu is a weight class sport? Well, we know that having more muscle and being stronger within a certain weight class is going to be an advantage. As you probably know, size is an advantage and so is strength, especially since strength differentiates elite and sub-elite jiu-jitsu practitioners. So before I dive into all the different foods here to show you what's going on, trying to set up a diet for building muscle mass, we need to look at total calories and then the macronutrient breakdown. This is if you're tracking. Typically tracking your calories is the easiest way to be able to make adjustments to add body weight. There are other ways you can go about it if you're not tracking, but again, it's going to be very difficult to see consistent progress if you're not doing that. So for consistency, a really easy way of doing this, the way I often do it, take your body weight in pounds, multiply it by 15. That'll give you approximately your maintenance calories. It's not going to be deadly accurate, but it's going to give you a good place to start. So if you weigh 200 pounds, your maintenance calories are likely somewhere around 3,000 calories per day, just to maintain your body weight. What I do is I like to start there. If you don't see your body weight change in the first week, then you might start to add a couple of hundred calories on top of that, and you just work your way up slow and steady. Now let's just take that 3,000 calorie example. We're breaking down the macronutrients. Start with protein, typically looking at 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein per day. So you're looking at 200 grams of protein per day on average. Give yourself some wiggle room, 10 grams either way. Then you're looking at setting your dietary fat intake at around 25% of your total calories. Let me just work that out for you. So we take 3,000 times 0.25 gives us 750 calories, divided by 9 for 9 calories and a gram of fat. That's about 83 grams of fat. And then finally, the rest is made up of carbohydrates. It ends up being around 50 to 55% carbohydrates in the diet. It ends up being, I think, over 300 grams of carbs. So importantly, it's set out this way because a high carbohydrate diet is going to support your high intensity training. If you're training a lot of jiu-jitsu, and obviously now if you're trying to gain mass, you're probably lifting often or more frequently. And with more intensity, you're going to need those carbohydrates to fuel that training and to recover. So that's the quick and dirty of setting up the calories. Now let's get into the actual budget bulking, food haul, whatever we want to call it. Start with protein sources. Your most expensive protein source is going to be red meat, so you don't have to go crazy on it. This is 90-10 ground beef. Now typically I like to buy my ground beef from Costco. It's 88-12, so 88% lean, perfectly fine. You can go all the way to 96-4. It's more expensive, you don't need to. You're gonna need slightly fattier cuts of meat anyway, especially if you're bulking. So this is about $6 a pound, which is very expensive. You can typically get this on special. At Costco, it's around $4.50-ish a pound, which is a way better price. So if you have Costco membership, get it at Costco. Obviously, if you're at other places in the world, try and buy in bulk wherever you are. But this is 90-10, and this can be used, taco mixes, burgers, etc. Lots of different options when you're using something like this. Other meat sources, of course, I'm gonna come to this. That looks nice. But these are chicken thighs. So you can do chicken breast, but chicken breast is very lean and very dry. Chicken thighs, because they have higher fat content, much nicer to consume on a daily basis. And since you are trying to add mass, you need more calories. This can help you hit your daily fat intake very easy. Again, chicken thighs in the US are cheaper than chicken breast. So if you're on a budget, perfect. These ones are like natural, no antibiotic ones, so they're $3.40 a pound. Typically you can get these under $3 a pound, whereas chicken breasts, obviously depending on what brand you're getting, but chicken breast can range above $3 a pound anyway, especially at Costco as well, unless it's on special. So chicken thighs, ground beef, they're great options. You can also go pork. I don't know why no one talks about pork. I didn't have any on hand. Pork is bomb for cheap meat if you're even if you're not bulking, just general meat. You can get the lean pork loin cutlets. They're like $2 a pound, already cut up for your Costco. You can get the actual loin itself, that's a little fattier, in a roll. Or you can even get the pork shoulder, which is known as a pork butt. That's like $2 a pound. You can make pulled pork in the slow cook or Instant Pot. Those are perfect as well. So lots of options of pork. Then you have other brewed sausage. These egg whites from Costco. These are good options. I usually have that. And then these are my whole eggs. And I'll have 3 eggs in the morning with 3 egg whites. There's already 36 grams of protein just from those 2 there. And that's cheap. The eggs at Costco, you get 5 dozen for about $11, and you get a box of 6 of these for around $11 as well. So these are 1 pound boxes of 16 ounces of egg whites. So there's 10 servings in here, and I'll have 3 servings. So there's about 3 servings in this per thing. So plenty in there. And then finally, for, I guess you could say, main protein sources, because there's obviously protein in everything else too, which I'll touch on. But Greek yogurt, so typically this Oikos 000 Greek yogurt, I usually get the small ones from Costco. It's actually a better deal, and you get different flavors. But this thing's 17 grams of protein per serving, only 8 grams of carbs, no fat. And then this is just plain Greek yogurt. Use this as a sour cream substitute. So if you're having tacos, etc., you put these on it, this on it, more protein, tastes exactly the same. Just plain Greek yogurt, perfect. That covers the main protein sources, but there is protein in everything else here as well. And all that matters is your daily total protein intake. It doesn't matter as much the sources it comes from. As long as you're hitting that daily target, you're good. So obviously you're gonna get most of your protein from these sources. You can also add in protein powder. I always have protein powder during the day. I usually mix it with things like oats or in smoothies. This one from Transparent Labs is Informed Choice certified. It has the tick on it. It means that you're not gonna get for any banned substances. Important if you're a combat athlete, especially if you're going to be randomly drug tested. So protein powder, and protein powder is typically cheaper per serving than these other meat and protein options. So bear that in mind as well. I also have these protein bars. If you're on the go and you have to have something, these can make a good option too. That pretty much covers all the main protein sources. Then we move on to carbohydrates. Now carbohydrates, typically, yes, it doesn't matter whether the GI scale, fast digesting, slow digesting, in terms of the overarching outcome of your diet. However, typically more complex carbohydrates that have more fiber in them, etc., typically better options. It doesn't mean you don't eat the other stuff, it just means predominantly have your diet made up of that stuff. So first one, oats. You can get this whole box, which is 4.5 kilos, so 5-pound box of oats for about $8 to $12, depending on if it's on special or not at Costco. This will last you a long time. Great source of fiber, great source of carbohydrates. Perfect for this. Mix it with your protein powder, with other fruits and veg, etc. Another one here for carbohydrates. I've got some pasta. This is a chickpea pasta. It's high in protein. It's just because my wife has a gluten allergy. So we'll use this. Obviously you can use any other pasta, it doesn't matter, but whole wheat pasta, whatever, that's very cheap, less than $1 a pound, typically $1 a bag. Potatoes and sweet potatoes. These bags are from Costco. Everything is from Costco basically. But these potatoes, sweet potatoes, less than $1 a pound as well. Especially, you can bake them, have baked potatoes with your sour cream substitute, or what I do, cut them up, put them in the air fryer. Then you basically have chips every day. So that's a very nice thing to have. Cereal, I love cereal post-training, nothing beats it. Honestly, nothing beats it. So serving of this is 37 grams of carbs, it's just rice and sugar basically. That's great to have after training, and you can have that with low-fat milk, and you can have some protein on the side too. Again, this is more of a hybrid carb source because you're getting carbs, protein, and fats out of something like this. So that's an option too. You also have, I have to put it down here because it's so big, big ass container of rice. This is just jasmine rice I have in this. And from Costco, you'll get that at, I think it's 20 bucks for, there must be a 25-pound bag, it must be about 10 kilos. So again, $1 a pound, but that dry rice the rice lasts forever. So you have rice forever. Then you can obviously mix that with any of your protein sources. Same thing with potatoes, sweet potatoes, you're sorted. I will add as well, I try and eat a lot of fruit. So typically I have fresh pineapple I'll cut up, but obviously bananas, especially if you're doing early morning trainings. A lot of frozen fruit, like frozen blueberries. We have frozen pineapple in there. Sometimes we have other frozen fruits, frozen cherries. You can put them in smoothies. I usually put these in oats. Lots of different things you can do, but if you eat more servings of fruit and veggies, you're gonna feel amazing. Far better than you would if you weren't eating them. I haven't put any veggies in here just because they don't have any calories in them unless you're getting carrots and beetroot and stuff. But obviously you add veggies to your different meals. that should be a given. And one final carb source that I forgot to bring out, bread. Eat your damn bread. So this one is just an Oro Wheat one, again, from Costco, but has 8 grams of protein per serving and 6 grams of fiber and 48 grams of carbs. That's pretty legit, especially if you're trying to gain weight. It has everything you need, and obviously burger buns. If you're gonna have ground beef, have burger buns on hand. You can have homemade burgers. Pretty healthy for something that tastes damn good. And one of these buns, 250 calories, you're gonna get 44 grams of carbs from this. You can do this, double patty on it, some cheese, whatever else you want, and you've got a pretty good burger you can eat most days. And then to cover the fat sources, so peanut butter, relatively simple fat source, has a little bit of protein in it for you as well, but this is just peanuts and salt. So make sure you find something that's just that. Most of them have peanuts, some palm oil and other stuff, whatever. Just get the normal stuff. That, extra virgin olive oil, good for cooking, good to add to stuff. That's pretty much the main 2 fat sources outside of what's already in the meat. You obviously can get avocados. Avocados can be expensive, so I didn't include them in this quote unquote budget bulking little setup. But for adding more fat, avocado is definitely a way to go. Obviously you just add more olive oil to different things. You typically want to try and get most of your fat from mono and polyunsaturated sources. Typically limit the saturated fat sources. That doesn't mean not have any. It just means that you want to predominantly be made up of stuff like this. Better for your health. Unlike what carnivores say, ignore carnivores, please. Also, if you're on the go, you need to have something. I actually had this today as well. Just a simple mass gainer. Now, you do not need mass gainer if you're trying to get bigger for jiu-jitsu. Just a simple way where if you're on the run, you're busy, you're going from midday class straight back to work, and you don't have time to heat a meal up, or you don't want to eat cold, whatever it is, you literally have this, and that covers that meal, essentially. Now this one's 750 calories in a serving, so what I like to do is I like to do half a serving and then mix with 1 scoop of protein powder. So it ends up being close to 50 grams of carbs, 50 grams of protein just in that one little meal. Now, because it's liquid, it doesn't sit as long, so you will get hungry, just bear that in mind. But for someone who's on the go and needs to get calories in, this is a great option. So that's everything on a budget. You can make meals well under $5 a meal. That'll be high protein. This doesn't include all the different condiments and spices and all those things that you want to add to those to make it flavorful. You can get hot sauces for a couple of bucks and various other sauces relatively cheap. Spices, once you have them, they last forever. So I haven't added those into this, obviously. It's just stuff you should have in your house. But, you know, the usual salt, pepper, garlic powder, paprika, different spice seasonings, etc. will all help make the food more palatable so you can get it down. Now, I will also add, if you struggle to eat, say you're 200 pounds trying to gain weight and you struggle to eat that 200 grams of protein a day, because you're in a caloric surplus, the carbs are protein sparing, meaning you don't have to eat as much protein, potentially to build muscle or to at least maximize muscle growth. So you can drop that protein intake down a bit because you're in that caloric surplus. That can help you get more calories in. So just something there. Otherwise, typically aim for that 1 gram per pound. So if you enjoyed this different style of video, let me know down in the comments. Make sure also you get the free MMA and Jiu-Jitsu strength conditioning blueprints down below, and I'll see you in the next video.